Going to call to order this meeting of the Education and Culture Committee, and Councilor Buzzard, would you offer the prayer?
Yes, I will. Dear Heavenly Father, as we gather here today to take the business of the Cherokee Nations in hand, we ask for your guidance and ask for your support. Give us our thanks. We want to thank you for protecting our troops overseas and to bring them home safely. We ask that with the dryness of our country that you produce us with some rain, for our farmers greatly need our need of it today. We ask that you put your hand on this meeting, and we ask all this in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.
Next we have roll call.
Julia Coates. Here. Don Garvin. Bill Englund.
Here.
Bill John Baker.
Here.
Jack Baker.
Here.
Harley Bozard.
Here.
Bradley Cobb.
Aye.
Joe Crittenden.
Here.
Jody Fishinghawk. Meredith Fraley. Janelle Fulbright. Chuck Hoskin Jr. Hannah Glory Jordan. Present. Curtis Snell.
Here.
Chris Soap. David Thornton. Kara Cowan Watts. Honey, we do have a quorum.
Next we have approval of the minutes from the June 20th meeting.
I make a motion to be approved.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And we will move to reports, and first up, as always, we have Career Services and Diane Kelly.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the committee. You have my report before you, and I looked it over because I wasn't sure what all I put in here. I knew what I put in the next month's report because I've already turned those in. But we are busy trying to get things lined up for a basic computer classes in all of our different lit centers so that we can have some short-term basic computer classes for some of our businesses as well as for some of our people that just need basic computers. We're going to utilize our adult education program to do that prior to the fall starting. And then we're also getting ready to move the associate degree to health programs from higher ed over to our shop, and Jane Grogan will be overseeing those. That's the RN programs. And then the security and surveillance, we're going to be doing some training with that here in the next few weeks as well. So we've got quite a few things going on as far as training, and our phase 2 and phase 3 for food and beverage training at West Salem starts this week. So we hope to have quite a few people lined up for that, and we've got LPN, surgical tech, and radiology tech beginning also here in the next few weeks at the VOTEC. So are there any questions? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next we have the group leaders report, and I'll let her get back to the podium.
Thank you, Madam Chair. You have our report, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have about those. Just one highlight I'd like to mention, since you met last, the Head Start group has prepared a proposal for the former Cooks and Hills Community Action Program, and that will be submitted, I believe, today. It's been signed and ready to go. So that's a substantial project. It would, if we were funded, it would double the size of our current Head Start program. So my kudos to the staff for their hard work in putting that together on a really short turnaround schedule. So there's pretty heavy competition, but we're pretty confident that our Head Start will measure up to those competitors. So I'd be happy to answer any questions about my reports today.
Okay. Are there any questions? Councilor Fishinghawk.
How many slots you got for scholarships, Melanie?
We don't necessarily have slots, and it all depends on who applies. Under our guidelines, we consider other resources, so it just depends on those resources of the applicant. And we're still processing our applications. There are approximately 3,000 of them. So we should know something in probably the next couple of weeks in terms of how much money it will require to fund those applicants, so I can make that report to you.
Okay. How much money is in that budget?
Excuse me, the budget? We have approximately, as you know, this fiscal year funded last spring, and then it will fund this fall. So we've already consumed some of the money in spring, and what we have remaining for the fall is approximately $5.1 million, just to give you a very rough amount.
Councilor Thornton.
Melanie, would you just kind of explain the Johnson O'Malley program to me?
Certainly, and we can do a special report for you if you need more information. But generally, we do contracts primarily with school-based programs that have a committee, and they fund different types of activities, and we try to put emphasis on cultural and language types of activities, but they're generally education support, you know, for the Indian students in that school, not only Cherokees, but also other federally recognized Indian students. So we serve all of them. So it's slightly more than our Cherokee student population. We have a few community-based programs where the school isn't sponsoring it, but the community is, and we have contracts with those community groups too. Some of them we fund, a few of them we'll fund directly, but most of them are subcontracts, and we monitor those subcontracts through the year.
Do you fund supplies, school supplies?
And we do.
Are we reimbursed anyway for that funding that we pay them?
We get JOM funding from the Department of Interior, so it's a program that's been funded there for years and years. It was a public school support initiative through the Department of Interior BIA. So that's where the budget comes from, that's where we've been funded, and that's what we pass on then to those subcontractors.
And what you're actually saying is that a school has to apply for that funding?
Yes, we have an application period, and then they give us a proposal with the budget, and we work with them to make sure it complies with our guidelines, and then we enter a contract with them.
Well, if the school doesn't apply for it, then those Cherokee children don't receive anything from JOM.
That is correct, yes. But if you know of a school that would like some assistance from us, technical assistance in building a program, we'd be happy to work with them.
If they don't, those children still don't receive it.
That's correct, yeah.
Would it be, well, that's more for the council, but I just wonder if it'd be possible to help those kids that don't receive any JOM funding through our funds, discretionary funds.
I would offer also that if a school is not interested in doing a JOM program, that we would work with a community-based group to make it a community program.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Councilor Jordan?
Melanie, on the 3,200 applications, as they go through the process, when you get to a point where you can, would you provide us information on a breakdown of the amount of the awards?
Certainly.
And then on that very same summary, if you could provide us how many late applications were turned in also.
Okay. I'll provide that report.
Thank you.
Councilor Buzzard?
Melanie, I noticed in one of the reports, I can't find it now, it's on the chief markers, the markers that we're going to install at the grave sites. Is that money already in budget for this fiscal year?
The money for the actual markers on the chief's graves has already been expended.
Right. Okay.
The markers I believe we're talking about now are the historical
Right.
markers,
The
and
historical
I don't think that we've done a budget up
Okay.
to this point for that yet. We've discussed it, gotten some estimates. I think
Okay.
some of them were old estimates, but
Okay.
we haven't yet done a budget.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Are there others?
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, we have Head Start. Is there anyone here from Head Start?
My apologies, Verna and her staff are working on the application, so
Okay.
I'd be happy to carry back any questions that you might have for Head Start as well.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you. And Leadership, Mr. Enlow.
Good afternoon.
Submitted my report and would be happy to answer any questions that you may have. One of the highlights I would like to recognize is our Tribal Youth Council. They took the initiative on their own this year, and so they started an initiative for counting the steps and physical activity that they exert throughout the day. And in the report, Noah Collins won the challenge with 602,397 steps. And he accounted for 301 miles in that period, in a 1 month period. So the Youth Council has taken on their initiative to set the example, and so they are trying to increase their daily activity, and they're using pedometers and a challenge between them and encouraging other kids to get out and walk as well. So I'd like to recognize him for his effort and the Youth Council for their healthy initiative.
Counselor Jordan, you had a question?
Todd, I thought you were going to start adding to your report those positions where Cherokees were not hired.
I'm glad you asked that. I wasn't able to get it inserted into this month's report, but I do have it with me. I was on the bike ride with our bike riders this year and didn't have a chance to compile that, but I got that information
And then we
today.
can start adding it
Yeah,
to
and-
this report from now on.
If I can indulge you or ask for your indulgence on this, if we could do this once a quarter, because I'm afraid it's not very telling once a month because we only may have one position. We can do it once a month if you guys want. But this represents a quarter. This represents the third quarter reporting of new hires, so you can see if there's a trend, if we don't have available applicants that are Cherokee. But I can add that to that once a
I would
month.
personally rather see it monthly.
Okay,
And then if you want to prepare a summary quarterly, well, that would be fine.
that'd be fine. It just, I
I would
think,
like to know monthly which positions we have not hired a Cherokee for.
okay. I'll make sure we get that added then. So this represents the quarter.
Buzzard?
I noticed we have a vacancy on our youth council. How do you go about filling that position? What do you do?
We ask, if you guys have somebody, they can get an application from Patrick Hill, and they fill out that application. And we have a selection committee that reviews those applications. But best contact would be Patrick Hill. And Patrick is doing a phenomenal job with our youth council.
Thanks.
Madam Chair?
I'm sorry, Ms. Watson.
Thank you. Just because I feel compelled to ask, on Indian Other Tribe, it would not be a state recognized tribe, it would be a federally recognized tribe.
Those are federally recognized
Okay.
tribes, yeah. It could be
Thank you.
one of the
Okay.
many others.
Here, they can remind me, just wait for what is coming.
This is what you passed down?
No. I don't know. I said it done that way, so.
Here it is. Here it comes.
Okay.
It's a shortcut.
Are there other questions? Seeing none?
Just one note, I would like to, I plan on next month submitting a report in detail of our bike ride and all of the Camp Cherokee events that have gone on since June 6th. We will be concluding the last camp this week, which is our residential camp at Sequoia. And we have just a little over 206 students on campus today, they actually began last night. So we'll have a summer report of all those activities through the summer, including a bus tour that went from Cherokee, North Carolina back here. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry, Ms. Jordan.
Now, this is just for Cherokee Nation.
That is just for Cherokee Nation, yes, ma'am.
Is there a way that we can get this same format from like C&E?
I'll work with them to make sure we can get
Maybe
that.
take care of that?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I know on one of the CNE's reports, they reported the reasoning why they did not pick the Cherokee applicant, how many Cherokee applicants hired, how many non-Cherokee, and the reason why. And I'm kind of interested in this, about why we didn't pick someone for some of these positions.
Okay. I talked to Michael Patello about that, our HR group leader, knowing that that would be something you would be interested in and why. And right now, they do not track that, but they're evaluating modifying their processes, but I don't know for sure.
Tell Michael to get it modified. He's not
Okay.
Cherokee, but I'm Cherokee and I want it.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, I think. Okay. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Next, we move to old business. There is none pending. And under new business, we have a guest with us from the Eastern Band of Cherokees, Ms. Patty Grant, who wants to present a proposal to us, right? Forgiveness journey. Welcome.
Thank you. Whew. I don't know, but I don't know if it's hotter outside or hotter in here. Good afternoon. My name's Patty Grant. I want to say thank you to all of you, to Tribal Council, for having me and allowing me to stand before you to make my short presentation to you. My name is Patty Grant. I'm an enrolled member of the Eastern Band of the Cherokee Indians. I am the daughter of Rebecca Katolster Grant and Ernest Grant, who is a Lakota Cherokee, Lakota Sioux from South Dakota. My grandparents are James Carson Katolster and Josephine Sanook, and I am from the Deer Clan. So thank you for allowing me to stand before you. I sent a proposal. I am a program manager of the Analanisky, which is the mental health and substance abuse program in Cherokee. I've been in the field of substance abuse and mental health for over 20 years. And so I have, since 2002, I became a member of the Healing and Wellness Coalition. We have done several events and activities to address some of our social ills, if you will, substance abuse, diabetes, depression, and those kinds of things that are plaguing many of our Indian people, in Cherokee and, of course, across the nation. We got together with White Bison, and we're looking at a proposal to do what we have called the forgiveness journey. And we knew that we couldn't do this if we didn't get the blessing from your nation and from the Gadua Band. And because we wanted it to be a joint effort. The forgiveness journey would be about a week long, maybe 8 days long event, but it would begin in Oklahoma. And what I stand here before asking you is for your blessing and to support this event, and so that we could collaborate together and make this this initiative come to fruition. We've been in the planning stages, and I was talking to Melanie and Diana earlier that this is really just a dream at this point until we get your blessing in this initiative and for it to become a reality. The proposal that I sent to Gail back for this is, and I'm hoping that all of you have a copy of it. If not, I will kind of go over the event, the proposal itself, and what the event would look like. At the Healing and Wellness Coalition, which is, there's between 45 and 50 of us, but on a regular basis, there's between 12 and 15 of us that meet regularly. There are members who are enrolled in the Eastern Band of the Cherokee Indians, and some are non-enrolled members. That we would like to unite with the Cherokee Nations of Oklahoma and White Bison in co-sponsoring a journey of healing by forgiveness. It features a journey including a day and a half or maybe 2 days conference in Oklahoma, retracing the Trail of Tears from Oklahoma to North Carolina, stopping at significant locations and performing healing ceremonies at each place, and ending up with a day and a half or 2 days conference in Cherokee, which would be located at our mother town there at the Katua Mound. The Healing and Wellness Coalition in Cherokee would like the blessing and collaboration of the Cherokee tribes in Oklahoma for a journey to healing by forgiveness, and it is what we thought initially would be in the fall, but I now understand that probably early spring would be the best time of the year. The conferences will include presentations on the removal, the impact on the Cherokees, the current social issues, the boarding schools, effects of unresolved grief and losses, near losses of our language, our culture, and songs. There will be forgiveness and guidance exercises and healing ceremonies in, in the realms of maybe talking circles. We hope to model combating these cycles to our members and to other cultures across Indian country and beyond, to non-native cultures who have suffered oppression. We would like to produce a resource guide that will be usable by groups who can learn what the effects of our traumatic history, how it has left us and affected us. The coalition mission statement that we have is the Cherokee Healing and Wellness Coalition is committed to enhancing the lives of the people by honoring and reclaiming the 7 Cherokee core values: spirituality, harmony, education, sense of place, honoring the past, and strong character and sense of humor. Our vision statement is that we walk in a manner that will positively affect 7 generations. Our challenge is that we are addressing the near loss of our culture and identity, primarily because of generational grief and trauma. All tribal members of the EBCI and members of the Eastern tribes in Oklahoma have experienced historical grief and trauma as a result of the assimilation and acculturation process. We want to celebrate our continued existence and endurance after 500 years. The expectations and results of the event is to support and assist breathing a new life into developing an overall cultural awareness of the Eastern Band Cherokee Indians and the Cherokee tribes in Oklahoma. Our goal is to teach tribal members and other groups who have experienced oppression through a traumatic history how, when one experiences trauma, it affects the following generations through ill health and emotions. We want to educate how self-destructive cycles spring forth from any traumatic history and that can take form of anger, abuse, drug and alcohol dependence, broken spirits, resistance to relationships, and inability to express feelings and carrying emotions to family and relations. To learn from other cultural / racial and tribal groups who realize the ill effects of a traumatic history and the ways and means they have begun to address the resulting cycles. To produce resources to other groups who have experienced historical grief and trauma. So what we are requesting, the Healing and Wellness Coalition from Cherokee, is requesting from the tribes of Oklahoma that in assistance in determining the conference, your blessing and collaboration, and determine the conference meeting space, whether it be inside or out, outdoors. In Oklahoma, identifying lodging and presenters and those traveling from North Carolina to Oklahoma, providing video equipment, microphones, flip charts, and paper, food, refreshments, meeting space, and counselors for follow-up after conference presentations, and any other suggestions for funding sources. So that is essentially what the essence of why I stand before you today, of what we're asking for your blessing and support.
Councilor Watts.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think this has been kind of brought before us before, and there was concern at that time. I'll just tell you, I have concerns about going backwards on the trail just in general, period. I think that's problematic, just culturally. That alone, I think, is why I don't know that I can support it by itself. But then I also heard that you involve and engage and put forward non-Indian people that are putting themselves out as tribal citizens, because I heard non-enrolled, and that's problematic. And then I never heard that there's a partnership with our behavioral health department, which would be the appropriate, the staff would work and it would be part of, so I didn't hear Dr. B.J. Boyd's name or any of our behavioral health staff folks and such. And then I heard a lot of non-Cherokee things that get put on us in a Plains Indian context that aren't appropriate for Cherokee culture. They're just not Cherokee culture. And then if we endorse it, then it becomes almost like we're endorsing that idea of those other things. So right now, as of today, I'm just on face value without, of course, we're in the middle of a lot of other stuff.
Yes, ma'am.
So if it moves today, I can't support it for those reasons. I should want it to be upfront why and such. So I don't know if you want to address any of those things.
Yes, ma'am.
And
I
let me
would like
know, but that's where I'm at. Thank you, Madam Chair.
I'll let you respond to that, and then we've got a question from, or comment from Councilor Jordan, or,
I'm going to defer right now. I'm on
Okay.
a regular law.
Okay,
go ahead.
it's okay. Okay, let me see if I can remember the non-enrolled, or, of course, the Healing and Wellness Coalition. It involves people across the board that lives in Cherokee and are interested in working in support of addressing these historical grief and trauma, addiction, diabetes, all of the social ills that we know that we can't not do this alone. So we have members of the Healing and Wellness Coalition from all walks of life and all races of people. So it's not, it is housed and it's started there in Cherokee. So the majority of the members are enrolled members. But we don't turn away anyone that wants to volunteer to do work that helps us to combat issues that we're dealing with in Cherokee. The reason that we haven't talked to any other person, I think you said Dr. Boyd, we knew that we had to go through you guys first before we assumed or made effort to make contact with particular individuals, because no one had, we wanted to make sure that we were able, we had the okay to start this dialogue before we made any plans to move forward with this event. The third one about going backwards, one of the things that we know that we talk about in Cherokee is the Trail of Tears and the separation, and what it would be in our mind in having the forgiveness journey is virtually symbolic for us that have not been on the trail, or those that want to travel that trail, to have a sense of where our people traveled. And although those that wanted to participate and would want to go from here back and to do the ceremonies, and again, it's been my experience working in mental health for over 20 years in substance abuse for Indian people. I think I've worked in at the Shawnee Indian Action Center for 2 years with Native American adult men. I've worked with adolescents in Unity Treatment Center in Cherokee for over 6 years, working with family members, Indians from all across the United States and Southeast. I do know that it's been my experience that working with the Indian population, there are areas that I believe that if we can set the stage for people to participate in, to help them to heal or to get unstuck, if you will, in a recognition of whatever it is that they're going through. And I know that this is one event that will help people to address some of their whatever their internal conflicts, if you will, to help them to address whatever is going on with them if they choose. This is only one venue that can help those that choose to participate to move forward in their healing journey. Others, utilize other resources. They go to church, they go to ceremonies, they go to AA, they go to, to therapy, whatever it is that helps them to heal internally so that they can become whole and healthy. And so we have worked with White Bison, and certainly White Bison we would not be endorsing the way they do things, but White Bison, because of their experience in working with Indians across the country, they would help us to kind of coordinate and to put together this event, which would be put together by us, in Oklahoma. It would be put together by you guys, and in Cherokee, it would be put together by the Cherokees in Oklahoma. But we would be using them as kind of like helping us to coordinate it and put it together because of their experience on that scale, large of scale.
Councilor Jordan, you had a...
So you're just needing a motion to get our blessing to move forward with this project?
Yes, ma'am.
I would make that motion.
I'll second it. Motion and a second. Councilor Baker.
Yes, and, Eastern Band, the Katua, the Cherokee, we all came from one fire.
Yes, sir.
And I really don't see the problem going back, coming forward. It's almost like a religious experience when we do go back to Cherokee and meet with the Eastern Band. So I'll be in support of this. Thank you.
Sir.
Councilor Thornton.
Yes, I see problems with this myself. And the thing that I see is this first word. It says forgiveness.
Yes, sir.
And what I'm feeling is that you're talking about the people, forgiving yourself. The first thing my people's going to say is the forgiveness of the federal government. And that ain't gonna happen in my district.
Yes, sir.
I can almost assure that. I would rather take this back to my people and try to explain to them what you're talking about than having a forgiveness journey event. To me, this is a healing journey event. And maybe I'm wrong, but with that word forgiveness in there, I can't support it. Because I need to know more about it, and I need to take it to my people and talk to them about it. That's just the way I feel about it.
May I respond, sir?
Mhm.
And I appreciate that, that statement. Forgiveness is about, it's not a specific, area of what an individual needs to forgive. And I think for me, and what I've experienced is that forgiveness is a choice, and it could mean a forgiveness of whatever. It doesn't necessarily mean it has to be one or the other, at the same as what the person standing next to me has decided to forgive. But it is that conscious, mindful effort, to forgive. And it may be a personal, a sense of a place where an individual wants to forgive their neighbor, or it's something that's going on with that individual at that particular time. The individual determines for themselves where that forgiveness, or even if they don't want to forgive, they have that validation and that position also. If they don't are in no place to forgive, it's entirely up to them, a personal choice.
Well, I don't know how you would feel about it being from
Yes.
North Carolina. But in my family, my third great grandmother, she's buried somewhere between here and North Carolina.
Yes, sir.
I have nowhere, I don't know where.
Yes, sir.
And I don't know if she would want me to forgive.
Yes, sir.
You understand what I'm trying to say?
I do, sir.
And that's just the way I feel about it.
Yes, sir.
And I've always felt that way about it and been brought up that way. My medicine men have always told me, we take nothing back east. We don't take our medicine back east. And of course, I know there's some of it being taken back there. But I feel like this is Cherokee Nation of Oklahoma now. And we're all Cherokees. But as far as the forgiveness journey, I can't support it. That's just the way I feel about it.
Thank you, sir. That's
Representative Baker.
Yes. Has this been endorsed by the Council of the Eastern Band?
Oh, yes, sir. They support us. And we've been, I was looking, I brought my notebook since we've been doing we've done conferences, and we've addressed historical grief and trauma, and we've done a lot of
But this
areas.
proposal itself?
Has it been? Yes, sir.
Okay. Because I would like to, actually, I would like to see it as, if we endorse it as part of the joint council that we have with the Eastern Band, that we endorse it at that time, rather than individually as a council here. So I would like to make a motion that we table this at this time.
Second.
Excuse me.
I think there is no discussion on a table, is that correct? Under
Yes.
Robert's Rules of Order, so we will go ahead and vote on the table at this time. Okay. All those in favor?
Can I say one thing? The reason that I was going to say was you remember when Carol Bradley and, oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I don't understand. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm sorry.
Call for question.
Thank you. All those in favor of tabling, say aye. Aye. All those opposed?
Aye.
I think the motion to table has passed here. So we will table this until the joint council. Is that the?
That would be my preference.
That was the
yes.
motion, I think. And we will, what I would recommend is, it seems to me that we've got something of a circular situation here where you have come to us, but I have questions about some of this, about do we have people who can participate as trainers? What investment is required on our part? Some of these types of questions, and I really would encourage you in the interim to do as Councilor Watts has suggested, and to talk with people from our behavioral health services to see to what degree we actually can participate in this, and be prepared at the time of the joint council, perhaps to offer that kind of information. So that would just be a recommendation that I would offer to you.
Okay.
May I add to that?
Absolutely.
Actually, I appreciate what you said, circular. I didn't know if you were headed this way, but this is not the first time it's been brought to us and tabled or not considered because of numerous reasons. So it seems like they just send different people, Mr. Coyas maybe, back and forth, and there's still ongoing issues that I don't want to bring up on public.
Okay.
There's a number of issues besides just the actual proposed project. So I just hate to have it keep coming back, and whoever the messenger is, doesn't feel like they're going to be successful. So you operate fundamentally different than I think the Eastern Band does, and that you would go to the staff and get their buy-in and support and work with them, and then the proposal would come through the administrative branch or the executive branch who administers our programs.
Okay.
Because as a legislative body, we don't administer programs.
Okay. I was not aware of that. I'm kind of.
Would you
No, I think that
concur?
makes very good sense. I do appreciate you being here today and sharing this with us. It's very interesting. We're excited to hear about it. But I quite agree that that would probably be a more effective direction to take it.
Okay, well, please hear my apologies.
No, you're fine.
I am part of this coalition and have been, since its existence, and strongly, truly believe in this, and thought that in the joint meeting, when Don and Carol had came out, that they were the two that were selected to come and represent and present this with our tribe's blessing. And so I understood this to be just a follow-up. So please forgive me if I went.
No apologies. No forgiveness is required. We're happy to have you and to hear about it. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much.
Councilor Fraley, you had
I have a question. I think the objective is honorable and in relation to substance abuse, etc. However, have you involved any of the Cherokee Nation in your discussions on a proposal, or suggest that maybe you do that before you bring it to the joint council? Is that where you were leading, Kara? Sorry, ma'am.
May we?
Absolutely.
This same discussion's been had, and I don't feel like any of our issues were addressed. And I think it's unfortunate that that wasn't passed on to you. So
Right.
don't feel like we're trying to be candid so that somebody else isn't given the same
Well, they won't come, though,
instructions.
they won't be here.
So, thank you, Madam Speaker. Yes.
And we've attempted to talk to several different people, and I could name
She can get it done.
I could name a couple of different people, but they felt like that this was from here, they felt like that before they could talk about or volunteer to be part of this process, we had to come here. And so that's why I'm standing before you. And so we've attempted to contact several different people over the last several months to try to make headway, if you will, to figure out what we needed to do on that end. And this is what we were informed. And I volunteered to come, I drove all the way out here to meet with you guys, and this is a wonderful education for me, and it's a wonderful opportunity. It's just that I'm not aware of some of what sounds like some undercurrent that's going on, and if it's supposed to.
Well, there are definite channels to go through,
Yeah.
I would say, is maybe a better way to state it, but Secretary Knight can probably, right.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to offer that we met just before the meeting to talk about what it was that we were going to talk about here at the committee, and she was able to give me an overview of what the proposal was. I would suggest that, I can assist in bringing the people together that, we would need to convene on the issue and, and flesh out maybe some more details about the agenda and logistics, and then we would be ready to talk about it at joint council.
And Paula Ragsdale, as well as the liaison between the administration and the council, can also bridge these,
Certainly offer our assistance to help.
this circle that we're trying to figure out where it begins, right? So.
And I must say, you guys are really hard to get a hold of. But thank you so very much.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for
and
sharing
giving
with
me
us
this
today.
time.
Next, we move to announcements. Are there any announcements? And we want to say that our next meeting is at a somewhat different time, right? Is it August 23rd? Is that the right date? I believe 22nd. The 22nd at 3 o'clock will be the next meeting of this committee. Okay. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?